All right then. Please make some noise for welcome our guests up to the stage. First we have Johnny Young Bosch, Nero's voice. You know him better as Virgil, Dan Southworth. And his little girl too. And last but not least, Ruben Langdon, Dante. Dude, that is totally received. So thanks for joining us this weekend, guys. We're going to start off with one question for all of you, and it's the most asked question we got from the internet survey that we conducted for the show. The most often question we got was, how long did the three of you work on Devil May Cry 3, 3.5, and 4? I know, Johnny, you're just been with 4. And are there any funny stories you can share with us about them?
Okay, funny stories, lots of those, but first, how long did we do this thing? 2004? Yeah, it was a long process. That started with Capcom actually with my company. Okay, all right. I've got a company, Just Cause Productions, my partner, me and I kind of pitched to Capcom and some of the other game companies in Japan to hire Western performance actors on motion capture voices for Japanese games. Because so many of the games, I don't know if you guys know back in the day, they were performed with Japanese motion capture players, or motion capture players. Yeah, the first, oh, there we go. The first two games actually were the motion captures performed by Japanese actors, and then the voices were dubbed over by English voice actors. And not only with Devil May Cry, with many games coming out of Japan, you get this kind of what I call a bad kung fu movie effect. Kung fu movie dubbing where the voices and the movements don't really match. So what my partner and I did, we noticed that, and we pitched to Capcom and some of the other game companies out there in Japan to what we call the Gollum effect, which you guys know, I'm sure, Lord of the Rings Gollum, where Andy Serkis really kind of took made that role what it is. So anyways, we pitched to them that. We did a couple of tests with Biohazard Resident Evil Outbreak series. We did just a couple of quick days, and then they loved it. So they said, okay, Devil May Cry 3, you guys do it. And that's where we actually had auditions, called Dan in, amongst others. Dan ended up, you know, just really getting the role. There was no other.
After I had to swing the hula hoop a couple of times.
Yeah, we put him through the test, but he performed well. And that was way. I mean, this whole process started, I think, back in probably 2002, 2003. Yeah, it was a long one. It was like when Devil May Cry 2 had just come out. So that's kind of the whole start of things.
As soon as Devil May Cry 2 came out, the wheels already started.
Yeah, they were already thinking about 3. 2 was kind of a rush job. I don't know if you guys know. It was, Capcom is kind of not even believing that they did that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was the director Izuno-san. He's not. He says that never happened. I don't know. Did that answer any questions? Okay. Johnny.
Most of it happened on his end, and it all started with him. I think, what was it, 3 weeks maybe in Japan? 3.5 weeks? Something like that. And then it was like 8 days before that for rehearsing. Yeah, well, I guess, yeah. Also on Power Rangers. I was on Power Rangers. Actually, we all at some point worked on Power Rangers. Which is funny. Yeah, definitely, yeah, Ranger Power. Power to the Rangers.
What was the trigger.
Yes, dangerous. Guys, that's his new name, dangerous. Hey, Kiva, yeah, most grand. It's awesome. What was that? You drew that? That's amazing. That's really cool. Yeah, because he is a wolf.
Okay, Xavier is going to be.
Hello. PG-13. Yeah. You said.
Not for them.
Everybody else is projecting. He's very toned down. So it's just.
Okay, so Xavier's going to be taking some questions first from the press row, and then we'll be taking 2 questions from the audience. So get your hands up in the air. Oh, come on, you guys came here. You have to ask questions. Come on, chop chop. You can't ask them all at once.
I went to that forum you said. I just said hi.
Did I have the website?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Okay. Wait. Okay. Do you think you share any strong relations or similarities to the characters you portrayed yourself have? This applies to all characters.
To us personally? Does our character relate to us personally?
Yeah. Do you share any sort of similarities?
Yeah, I like to walk around with my shirt off. I wear leather pants every day. No. Of course, I think I don't want to speak for these guys, but I think many actors they like to bring a little bit of themselves to every character they play and every project they work on. So yeah, definitely there's some stuff that carries over. I don't know if I can get into specifics because I don't know what happens just in the moment. Whether you're out there, you're doing it. You bring yourself to the characters and it comes out. I try not to bring my own dorkiness into Dante's dorkiness, but it's a different kind of dorkiness.
Yeah, what Ruben said, I think when you look at a character as an actor, you try to find parallels of the character with yourself and start there as a way of getting yourself into the character. And as much as you think consciously that maybe you're playing a role, every once in a while you're sort of disturbed by the fact that maybe this guy really is you. I mean, especially when I'm late at night by myself at the bar muttering about how I'd like to destroy everything around me. I start to worry if I was playing the character or the character was playing me. But yes, absolutely. There's a piece of all of us in our characters, I think.
Well, I agree. I can't really talk about mine that much, so unfortunately. But it was fun, because I got to play a pretty decent range of emotion in it, I guess. The only thing that was tough was that, I had to swing the sword around with my left hand, and I'm right-handed. That was the tough part. And that's about it.
I did get my hair straightened when I played the role. And then they told me it was spiked and short. Anyway.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Oh, I see a hand.
All right.
What were your most favorite and least favorite lines from the game?
We'll start down there.
Gosh, I don't know. What my favorite line? I mean, it wouldn't make any sense anyways, even if I had anything to tell you. Because I can't really say anything about my character or anything.
How about try this and then you pick that one?
Oh, the try this? Which is kind of weird because nobody says try this, right? It is weird. It's more like take this, right? There's quite a bit of that, but try this. Yeah, that was a bit odd. I did say Kyrie a lot. No, it's the chick that my character's in love with. I can say that much, right?
That's all you can
say. You know, there's a lot of really funny moments. I can't remember it off the top of my head when we would have, and the Japanese team was great to work with because they would allow us a tremendous amount of time, and they had patience with us in expressing how we thought the character would behave and react, and what we thought the character would say. And it was a very good collaboration on getting from the translation to the English something that we could all agree on. But there is this one thing that I hate. I'll probably never work again as Virgil when I say this, but he and I get together and we have these guns. It's the first time I use a gun as the character, and they want us to say jackpot. And I'm just having a real hard time with how and why and what the backstory is on jackpot. Were we in Vegas together one night? And it was like, jackpot, baby, jackpot! I don't know how it came about, but somehow I hope we pulled something together.
Yeah, there was a lot of those. I mean, as you guys know, I mean, I don't know, or may not know, I speak fluent Japanese. I lived in Japan 5 years, and there's, I had a lot of input with script translation, and that was, our company kind of did a lot of that. And a lot of things don't translate, you know, and that was some of the stuff that works well in the Japanese culture, and is really cool, is not so cool in English. And vice versa, some things that is really cool in English, you know, it just doesn't translate. So what we tried to do with the Devil May Cry 3 script and was make something that would work in both languages, for both. So a lot of the what do you call it, the subtitles in the bottom of the Japanese subtitles. I don't know if you played the Japanese version. There's Japanese subtitles. They don't exactly match up. They're kind of they're kind of put there just to kind of whatnot. But what was the question again?
Favorite line.
Oh yeah, I gotta agree with Dan on the jackpot deal. That was.
See us in rehearsal. Well,
but there is another thing that I thought was kind of fun thinking. Is this thing that Yakuza thing?
Yeah, see, right.
It made no sense.
Also, okay, not only with words, but with body language. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't translate. So, you know, one of the animators or one of the Capcom staff will have an idea that's really cool in Japanese, or it's like a way somebody carries himself.
Like this.
I guess a lot of Yakuza guys in Shinjuku will sit around and, or you know, sit on the curb, kind of kneel down, and that's the thing they do. And I was trying to make it work, and it was a taunt. It was supposed to be a taunt that I was supposed to do, and it was just like, you know, yeah. But because I work so closely with the Japanese staff, they all think, oh, Ruben, he can, you know, you're just saying. Yeah, well, no, they're saying that they think that I'm disagreeing with them just as a person, not as a as a culture thing. I'm saying no, this won't work in English. In English it doesn't work. It does not work. And they're like, no, you're just saying that because you don't want to do it. So, so I have to bring in these guys and say, come on, guys, come on, all right, look at me. What am I doing here? This is work.
See us go.
They still don't believe me. They still make me do it anyways. So, a lot of it was just, it was what animators and directors and guys had in mind. But hey, whatever, it works. I tried to make it work.
You did have the worst stuff though. Like you had more of those things.
Yeah.
I will say, they pretty much left you and I alone. But Dante is such a it is Devil May Cry that every day he went to work, he had 10 people telling him how to do Dante. It was hilarious. But I will say this: still, in my experience, the best time I've ever had working with a group of people in terms of collaborating on a project and coming up with something that we all loved. So. Please don't forget that. They were the best that I've ever worked with in the 11 years I've been doing various shows at collaboration and listening to creative input.
Yeah, that I agree. The Devil May Cry series has been a dream project for myself and my company and working with these guys. I mean, there's no other project that I've worked on that has come together like it has. It's pretty much. It's the hardest work I've ever done, but it's also the most rewarding as far as just from start to finish, being able to bring together the team and everybody's just passionate about something. And you don't see that much. I mean, there's a lot of projects out there, especially in the entertainment industry. There's just a lot of egos and a lot of things that don't go as smoothly. And these projects have been dreams come true.
Our next question that we received online was for Dan. Dan, Virgil has been a highly anticipated addition to the Devil May Cry franchise, really since the first game when Michelangelo was introduced. Were there any expectations you were facing when you assumed the role? And a lot of people were wondering today about your motivation.
Let's see. There was. I remember after the initial sort of a few auditions and then meeting with the director himself, they wanted me to sort of emulate the Blind Swordsman. Is that right? Zatoichi. They wanted me to really capture a little bit of Zatoichi in the way this guy moved. Not necessarily the character, because if you know anything about Zatoichi, he's kind of a funny guy. And they would not let me be very funny. They were very surprised when they came back and they found out that I was a goofball. Especially with especially with a pint of beer. That was, and so what I did was I went and I watched a lot of Zatoichi, and I sort of really understood what they're looking for in the character, and he's a very precise, sort of moving and thoughtful character. And then aside from that, I just was a real jackass, a real jerk. And they loved that. So that's the part you go, is that really me? Is that my personality? Or am I playing the character? But that's about it. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Arrogant Zatoichi. Yes.
Okay, we'll be taking another question from the press row. Expect a little bit more activity from you guys now. Come on.
I know it might sound fun, but actually it's pretty dangerous to taking the action capture. So I wondered if any of you guys actually got hurt during the Devil May Cry series, and how about Devil May Cry 4?
One of us did get hurt. Well, I mean, yeah, we got smacked around a bit, but it's
part of the job.
Let me just go into let me go into the whole casting process. Actually, this is probably, I don't know about Johnny and Dan, but as far as drilling everybody, this was one of the most severe auditions, I think, because we were we were casting people for many talents, not just voice or action, but we had like I brought Dan in, and it was like probably an hour audition. We were looking for acting ability, of course, physical acting ability, which is even different than television acting. You sit in a chair, you go into an audition, you sit in a chair and you deliver your lines. So I had to check everybody's movements when they're acting, because of motion capture and because it's a video game, you're an animated character. You have to be more expressive with your body movements and your face. PS3 is awesome. I mean, you can see with Nero and everybody, their facial expressions, everything's there. But for PS2, the animators do that. We didn't have facial capture. So I had to make sure that everybody could act with their body. As well as action ability, because we were pitching the Gollum effect, basically one person doing everything, doing their own stunts, doing their acting, doing their voice and everything. The other thing was the voice. We brought them in. We had them go into like a little voice booth and do their voice audition as well. So they were coming in and they were getting drilled. So it was a long audition process. And anyways, the whole motion capture thing, there's very few people out there that can even do motion capture work, let alone voice work and action stunts, physical acting. So it really, I had known these guys from Power Rangers, and they're all of our teacher mentors and our main. No.
You guys are Japanese commercial, you should see it.
We'll talk about that later. But on Power Rangers, it's probably the best training ground for this project because for Power Rangers you have to have all that, and these guys had that at the beginning, but then they honed those skills, and on Power Rangers the directors and the stunt guys really pushed them to the limits to bring those skills out, myself included. So with all that in mind, these guys, I brought in other actors who weren't on Power Rangers, and these guys shine through, every time we had a motion capture audition. So we got smacked around a lot. It was dangerous, and
there was one day I was fooling around with the stunt guys, and we were working on a trick called a gainer, which is where you take a step forward and you do a backflip while you're traveling forward. So I come out and I'm showing them how to do gainers and stuff. And of course, they already know how to do it. They're very, very good. They're just sort of very accommodating and humoring me, right? And I get out there thinking, good. So I'm going to show them a thing or two. I do my gainer and I get up, and I actually crashed on my head, landed straight on my head. It was like one of these things. I did the gainer and then went crash. And the first thing, as a stuntman, from being a stuntman previously, first thing you do when you crash like that is you get up, you go, no, I'm fine, everything's fine. You do the quick check to make sure all the body parts are still connected. And as I'm sort of making sure everything's connected, I noticed that my pinky is grabbing a hold of my ring finger. So I had bent my ring finger over. Completely, I was at a 90-degree angle on my hand. And I could see all the stunt guys gone. I said, oh, don't worry about it, it's okay. Oh! I didn't want anybody to see, so I took my finger, and you can't just bend it back, you have to pull it out, so the tendons, pinch the tendons. So I got an hour left, I don't want to get driven to the hospital and have to come back, and just because I was being arrogant, and showing off. So I take my finger and snap it right back into place, and I go, yeah, it's fine, let's go. And all of them, to this day, they still talk about that. Because, he just snapped his finger back in place and went right back to work. And it started to swell. By the end of the hour, it was like this. It looked like the microphone. I'm not being rude. I can't help it. I can't hit my finger. And we had this scene where it's the scene where we're fighting on the whale. Is that the whale we're fighting on?
The last.
The very last scene. It's very strange. We're on this flying whale. No, that's not the one. Oh, never mind. That's something different. Okay. So we're fighting for the sword, and in that scene, I have to really sort of. He defeats me, and I have to really sort of muster up my strength, and I'm in pain, and it hurts. And the director goes, "Okay, can you do this?" And I go, "Yeah." So I take my bad finger and I slam it on the ground. And then I don't have to act. You know, when you've been working all day, sometimes you just got to use what you're given there as a gift. Anyway, that's my hurt story.
Oh, Charlie's great. Got a hurt story. I did forget myself, yeah.
I mean, it's not like a great story, though. It wasn't like I had a thing like sticking out of me. All I had to do was like carry a girl, and my concern was that I would hurt myself, because I had to jump off of something that's a little higher than this and then land on one knee. And I did it like a ton of times, you know, like maybe 10 times, and finally got it right, and then I had to stand up from that knee position. And I was like, okay, I'm good, it's no problem. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm just walking around, and then I turn, and it pops. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? And then, to this day, I have these veins that go down the side of my calf that are like this, you know? It's pretty nasty. It's like varicose veins on my one side. But it was just like a small meniscus tear. I finally got it figured out. Yeah, it was a small tear. But it's not that bad. It still worked after that, though. But I felt stupid. It would have been better if like my knee was like sticking out and I had to pop it back in place. In fact, that's the story I'm sticking with. That's what happened. My leg was like off to the side, and I was like, popped it back in place. They still talk about it to this day.
Do you have any other questions from the audience?
Just a plain simple question about for Johnny. Out of all the characters you played for the years, what is your most favorite character of all of them? Out of all of them?
That's a good question. It's definitely not Adam in Power Rangers. I mean, it was fun to play him, but he didn't talk much. And I called him the Background Ranger. Basically a glorified extra. Got to wear a suit occasionally. Vash was a lot of fun because it was like the first thing I did. Got to do a lot of squealing, yeah. Ichigo is pretty cool, but honestly, Nero is one of my favorites. Because I got to do more than just the voice, you know. I got to be Nero, I got to play it out, and you know, do the action and stuff like that, and that for me was fun. Plus I got to go to Japan, you know. That was totally sweet. But Kiba was also very cool. That was the first character that I got to play that I was like, oh, I get to play a cool character. That's so sweet of me, isn't it? You're going to give that to me? Oh, thank you. Wow, I wasn't expecting a kiss. No, it's fine. Thank you. You drew this?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm always amazed at how well people can draw. Because I suck really bad.
Alright, we have kind of a shy question, so I'll go ahead and ask it for her. Do you still know how to do the Vash laugh, or after you kind of are done with the role, you don't remember any of your lines?
I don't remember most of my lines. I think I can recall the laugh. vaguely, so I'll give it a shot. Let's see. It takes a lot of air to laugh.
Okay, we have another question, and this one is going to Ruben. Ruben, we know that you've done motion capture for the 2 games. Is this your first voiceover role? Was Dante?
Yes, Dante was my first voiceover role, and it was very challenging, but luckily we had a wonderful voice acting director, Mary Elizabeth. She's done a number of things, I don't know. She did Cowboy Bebop, she did, you worked with her a lot, Johnny.
She directed me.
On Wolf's Rain, she's done a ton of stuff, but...
She just won.
Oh, okay, for which role? Best actress for which role? Motoko. Yes, she is also a wonderful voice actress. She did Motoko in Ghost in the Shell. Anyway, she is amazing. He's in the spell. No, she's awesome. So she really, I think, I can't take all the credit for the role of Dante because she really brought it out of me. She sat me down and it was hard. I don't have the. There you go. But yes, that was my first role, and it was very challenging. And things are a lot easier now. But she made it. She got me where I needed.
You think you'll be doing more voice acting after this?
I hope so. I have done some stuff. I can't really talk about it. It hasn't come out yet, but there's more to come.
Okay, do we have any more questions from the press row? You guys stink. You in a coma?
Let's just stand it on.
Is there any qualities for the characters you believe is confused or misinterpreted by fans? Yes, how?
I don't know. What do the fans think about these guys?
Well, you said it.
Oh yeah, you said it. No, I don't know what. No, yeah. Exactly. I'm bad about Morgan filling me in on what's going on the message boards and whatnot, but I'm kind of bad about research and seeing what the fans like and dislike. So I'm hoping this convention here will get me up to date on what the fans think. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this? The question is misinterpretation. So what are your interpretations? This is an audience question from the guys up here.
Well, people think of Dante as really loud and really overconfident, and Virgil as really like emotionally shut down.
Yeah.
No one knows what the deal is with Nero yet, so.
And we can.
Spot on.
A friend of mine is a doujinshi artist in Japan, and on her website she has little bios of Virgil and Dante for her books, and one of which includes Virgil's collection of self-rolling necktie cases, because you can't bear to see them. Necktie cases, they look like little soda cans, and you put your necktie in there, rolls them up and keeps them wrinkle-free. I saw them in the Sky Mall catalog on my flight out. Apparently it's in keeping with Virgil's intensely anal retentive nature.
I am anal retentive.
There you go, a similarity.
I just think that after being It's a real pain, and you know, I don't know. I mean, I would just walk around naked in the hole. Why bother with anything after 2,000 years?
Exactly.
That's when Sparta decided to get married.
Go for it.
Okay, do we have any audience questions?
Yeah, I know the work of Renton that you did earlier, that was almost like a polar opposite of Ichigo. What was it like to make that kind of transition?
That one was pretty tough because I came in, they had already started dubbing like 13 episodes, and someone else was doing the part of Renton, and the Japanese producers weren't pleased with it, and so they had called me in, and the director was worried because they wanted someone with a younger voice. And so they really wanted me to be really high-pitched, you know. And so at the very beginning, it was really tough because I was like, you know, if you push me too far, I'm not going to have any range, you know. And then after about, you know, episode 9, they said, okay, yeah, you're right. You know, bring it down a little bit. It was tough, but I did actually. Ichigo was after Eureka 7, so it wasn't that tough, you know, because I really got most of my. Eureka 7. I don't even know why. That was another weird thing, is they made us say Eureka instead of Eureka. That was again a Japanese thing. But it wasn't that different. What was your question? Was that your question? I feel like maybe I went off. Did you say how? Did you ask me how different it was? Because that's what I'm like answering. Was that? Yeah. I don't know.
Renton Thurston. My name is Renton Thurston.
Yeah, that was about it. Something like that. I kept it there for most of the time. What was that? Oh, hey. Hey, that is ridiculous.
Get outside.
Alright. Yay. Say hi. I said hi.
Okay. John said have to say hi.
I'm wondering if any of you had played with, like, you know, Devil May Cry 3, like, as the game after it's finished, or like have premiere, or like, you know, Devil May Cry 4 the demo, and what you think about it?
Of course, 3, you know, played special edition and all that good stuff. Yeah, I love video games. I wish I had more time to play them. But yeah, I played it for 4. None of us have played 4. I know they had a playable demo at GPS, but unfortunately, we did not get to play that. Yeah, and E3's gone, so I don't know. I'm sure we'll get to it soon.
I played 1. 1 was,
I mean, I have it, but I'm like, at some level, I just can't beat it, so I started playing Kingdom Hearts. But then I did get to play a little bit of 3, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, well, this is a question we received for all of you. Since you've all spent time in front of the camera and doing voiceover work, what's more difficult? Is it harder to work without a live set when you're interacting with characters, or is it just about
Compare motion capture to voiceover work? The live set. Oh, okay. Motion capture is it's taking over. I mean, I'm actually working right now with James Cameron on his movie Avatar, doing motion capture stuff, and it's kind of in the world that I've been since Devil May Cry and everything. It's just been kind of my world, is the motion capture world now. They don't let me out of the suit. I'm stuck in spandex the rest of my life. And reflective balls. But it's at first, when I first started motion capture, I thought I always preferred to do live action stuff, and I always just thought of motion capture as like an acting school, or an acting tool, because it's like acting class. You're in an imaginary space. Exactly. But as it's progressed, it's become more fun for me than regular acting, I guess, on a set. Because the other day I was working on a project, and I was playing. In one day I played 3 different characters. I was like a Marine killing monsters. Then I was the CIA agent, where I look cool and snap somebody's neck. And then I was a drunk old guy walking on the street and taking a leak. This was all the same day, as well as you get to play women. It's awesome. I know, and you can do all this in one day, and only with the technology, motion capture. It's amazing. So in that sense, motion capture is definitely going to new. James Cameron's working with it, so Spielberg's with it. All these guys are, it's the new Hollywood. Robert Zemeckis just finished Beowulf, which will be out, I think, this year, the end of this year. Full CG, $200 million motion capture film with big names in it. So it's definitely bless you. It's definitely a technology that I think we, as in the video game industry, us guys working in it, it's we're kind of in the forefront and the lead of things. But I'd say I like doing both. It's hard to say which one right now, but there's pluses and minuses.
When you're working on a set, everything is done for you. You show up and the room is constructed. They've been working on the scene that you walk onto for 3 months before you get there. If you have any ideas about props, you have to make sure to communicate with the director or the special effects or prop person ahead of time. You can't just come up with it on the spot sometimes. Sometimes you can use the prop, sometimes this jug of water is glued to the table and it won't move and you're screwed. But what I really, really like about, you have to actually spend time in the space, looking it over, getting ideas from the space. But what I love about motion capture, and I've said this often, is that it's difficult. It's more difficult because you have to create the environment in your head. You have to actually create the coliseum that you're standing in as you're watching your sister sing or something like that. It involves a little bit more sort of energy to recreate everything. But the one thing that's wonderful about it is you can create anything you want on the spot. And it's pretty easy to go, hey, what if I had like a scepter here? And they'll go, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Then they'll go get some PVC pipe and glue a tennis ball to the top of it. There you are, you got your scepter. You still have to imagine it's this gold scepter. But the fun thing is you have a little bit more room with what you can play with and create on the spot. And I think that's wonderful. And one thing that's kind of cool is I did get a chance to work with Ruben on the Cameron project for a couple of weeks. And, they're in there building all of these set pieces out of chicken wire. And so it's really cool, it's like the big budget version of, instead of pulling out the mats and go, this is your table right here. And that is your car. And you're looking at, a couple of wooden boxes, okay. Well, and the Cameron's there, it's a chicken wire car. And it's a chicken wire desk. And you go, everything is where it's supposed to be. It's great. You still have a little less work there, but there's more of a realism in that too. So it's interesting to see the two worlds kind of meld.
I think that the motion capture is probably the toughest. Voice acting is pretty tough just because you have to make sure your emotions match what's on the screen. Live action, it's what you do and who you are, really. But motion capture, at least because this was my first time to do motion capture, it wasn't just me doing things. I had to sometimes over exaggerate my hand motion or my head tilt or whatever it was. So there's a lot of that had to go on. Whereas if I'm just acting a live action, I'm just doing what I do, you know. Whereas you have to make everything slightly bigger with motion capture, and that sometimes it's a little complicated because then you sometimes feel like you're overacting, you know, and you don't want that to be in your voice at all. You want your voice to still be the same as how you would act, but you're somewhat overacting with your body motions, which was kind of interesting, you know. And it was a little tough in the beginning, you know, to get that down, especially the first day, because I was like, oh, I feel like something's wrong here, you know. But once you know, pull it together and realize what you're doing, then it all kind of works out.
Do we have any questions from the press row? They're unconscious, so
what do you like or dislike about your character?
I don't know, what, is there much not to like about this? No, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to like. I mean, he gets stabbed and beat up and he can still kind of run around and he eats pizza, he doesn't get fat. He's got great abs. Yeah, what's not to like about the guy? You know, I guess he's liked by the women. I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing I don't like about him. I like everything about him. Yeah, your turn.
Yeah, I really liked playing my character. And it was a very fun character to play. I tend to really sort of get off on playing the characters that come from a really dark sort of place of deep angst. And I put a little bit of the Quantum Ranger in there. And for a second there I was going, am I just a one-note actor? What the hell am I doing? This is the Quantum Ranger. And then I started to find, and that was during the rehearsal process, and then I was able to find something different about him. But I absolutely loved playing the character. I don't think there's really anything that I could say I dislike about any of the characters I play, because anything that's a flaw in the character is what makes the character very interesting. And you're lucky when you find stuff like that. Yeah. I wish you looked a little more like me, but that's
I can't really talk about too much other than what you're looking at. The only thing I would like would be to have the sword in this hand. And the glove, the crazy double arm in that. That would have been cool. Because it made it a lot harder for me. I was really concerned, about playing the character, because, people aren't really sure, is he taken away from the story or whatnot. But I think once you guys play the game, you'll see that it's going to be a great addition and just really takes the story, deeper.
Do you have any audience questions? See again?
I have two. One's directed to Ruben. Just one?
Just one. Give other people a chance.
Okay.
Raise your hand again.
Were there any ideas that you guys had during the process of making the game that were unscripted in DMC3?
Yeah, I think so. I can't think of any specifics right now. I mean, but the whole process was every day it was, why don't we do it this way, or why don't we do that way, or this doesn't translate, this does. There was a lot of, yeah, like Dan says, it's very collaborative. The director was very open. Shimomura, he was the cinematic director, and Itsuno-san was the overall game director. They were both on set most of the time. well, I mean, Shimomura was on set the whole time. He's the guy who directed the action versus, and he just finished the movie Death Transfer. So, but he was very open. It was his first time working with English-speaking foreigners, so I guess he really wanted a lot of input, and he allowed a lot of input.
He's one of my favorite directors.
Definitely, and yeah, the whole process, and we had a script, and he had his ideas, and then we'd get on set, and then and then the same thing in the voiceover, the voice room. He was allowing Mary Elizabeth willing to come in with some ideas, again with us, the actors, coming in with more ideas. So it was, it was just adding on, constantly adding on, and taking away what was happening.
A lot of the sword stuff that you see me doing, you see Virgil doing, where he does, where he puts the sword away or he takes it out, they allowed me to sort of just go to the corner by myself and figure out ways to whip it out, put it away, rust it, swing it, smack it. Anyway, that was kind of cool.
Well, I wasn't in Devil May Cry 3. So I can't really give you an